Hi everyone and welcome to Mama J's Kitchen. Today's recipe is lentil soup. A hearty lentil vegetable soup that's deliciously nourishing. Let's get started. First, we'll dice an onion. I'm using a Vidalia because they're my favorite and I buy them in bulk when they're in season. But use any kind of onion you like. Next, we'll finely mince 3 cloves of garlic. You may notice I have 5. It's because I was using the center cloves and they were quite small. Now half and slice a large leek. I absolutely love leeks, as they're delicious and impart a wonderful flavor here. Now dice 2 carrots. What can I say? They're carrots. Cut 3 stalks of celery into 4 pieces each by cutting them in half lengthwise and then cutting them in half again. Then dice. Now we'll dice some turnip. I'm using half a rutabaga here, as I was given it by a friend. Normally, I'd use 2 white turnips. Now slice half a cabbage into ribbons and separate the pieces. We'll dice a couple of large tomatoes. As you usually see, I'm using mixed cherry and grape tomatoes. I always have these in my fridge because I like to eat them with most of my meals. Now roughly chop a handful of flat leaf parsley and reserve. For the meat component, I'm using smoked pork chops. I reserved the bones and boiled them in the chicken stock to fortify it with some porky goodness. I started with my knife on these, but they were so tender that I was able to just pull the chops apart into pieces. Now add the onion, leek, celery, carrot, and garlic to a preheated pot with a couple of tablespoons of oil. I used a combination of grapeseed and olive oil here, and add a pinch of salt and cook until everything starts to soften. Once softened, add the pork and cook slightly until browned. Once the pork has gotten a little color, add the rest of the vegetables and soften them as well. As you can see, I had to break up the cabbage a little more. Once softened, add the curry powder, allspice, and black pepper. Now stir the spices through and let them cook for about 30 seconds to a minute until they release their aromas. Then add the tomatoes. Stir through and continue to cook the tomatoes until they release some of their liquid. Once the tomatoes have released their liquid, add 4 cups of chicken stock and 2 cups of water. Stir to combine and bring to the boil. Once near the boil, add a couple bay leaves and the lentils. Stir through, cover, and let cook for 20 to 25 minutes or until tender to your liking. Once the lentils are cooked to your liking, add the parsley and stir through. Now taste for salt and adjust as needed. As you can see, I'm always spilling food when I'm plating. You could say that I'm the founding member of the Messy Plate Club. Now garnish with parsley and enjoy. I absolutely had to get some of that smoked pork chop. It's one of my favorites. The bite was absolutely amazing. Even if you're not fond of lentils, I suggest you give this a try, as a blend of all the flavors from the vegetables, the pork, and the spices really do elevate the lentils to a higher plane of deliciousness. I want to thank you all for joining me, and if you want to see more content, don't forget to like and subscribe.